This is episode 208. Get your clients to come back. My name is Stephanie Laynes. I'm the owner of the Stephanie Laynes Institute Online Esthetician School and owner of the Stephanie Laynes Institute Online Esthetician School podcast. And I have been, as of late, going over or reviewing all the classes that we have in the Online Esthetician School. Now, this is an exciting time simply because we're in the middle of the year. So we are officially heading into quarter three. But one of the things that I do, and I love having all of our students go through these challenges, I have classes and then I have challenges. And so challenges are basically a task that you need to do every day. And so this specific one is called our Client Comeback Challenge. And this is always very challenging to so many estheticians because they want their clients, they love their clients, they love when their clients keep their appointment and all of the above, but they do not have a plan to get clients back that they haven't seen in 30 days or sorry, 60. The threshold is 3 months, 6 months, and a year. But there's no plan to get them back or even to communicate with them. So this whole challenge, which I have 30 days worth of things to do for clients, not only do we do appreciation or we do treating, but the comeback means that we are going to communicate with clients who we haven't seen in a while. And the reason I did this is because that was one of the things that I was so good at in my business was getting clients to come back. And I never really mentioned that they were gone. I just stated that I wanted to see them. And I think I literally understood, and I still do, that we're in relationships with our clients. You get to learn about their family and their desires and their positions and things that they are dealing with. We become a therapist to them. They share things with us and we start to understand them on a different level, but we're growing in that relationship. It's often why sometimes you feel when you haven't seen a client in a long time and you miss them, you missed knowing what's going on, or when you left there was something that was exciting that was getting ready to happen and you haven't seen them and you want to be like, well, wait a minute, we were talking about this the last time you were here. I want to know what happened. And that becomes a part of the relationship that we just don't take time to nurture. So this episode is going to really not only give you reasons why, one, you should be in the school doing this challenge, because here's the thing. When I tell people that I want you to get clients to come back, the first gut reaction is like, well, if they didn't come back, why would I, if they've never rebooked, why would I want to even have them come back? I mean, they know what I do. What do I need to do? But the pushing outside of the comfort zone is where we go when it comes to communicating with clients you haven't seen. And so this challenge, and I literally have a whole class behind it, but I literally give estheticians the expectations. There are clients that are not going to come back. And for whatever reason they're not going to come back for, we have to acknowledge and we have to allow them to have that space, right? But it's the communication that I'm pushing you to do because there is no reason for a client who hasn't seen you in a year you haven't communicated with. And so this also pushes you into how are you communicating with your clients? The ones that come in and they're consistent and the ones that are here and there or seasonal and then the ones that you haven't seen in 6 months to a year. What is that communication style and what is your plan of action to communicate with them? So in the client comeback challenge, I literally push estheticians into this challenge, helping them understand that your clients are not coming for a number of reasons, but it's your job to get them to understand not only do you miss them, but you want them to take time for themselves. Some of the times you're actually working on something with them, right? There's a problem that you've been working on. There's a situation in the skin that they came to you to fix. And sometimes they leave you because they feel like you didn't fix the problem. Sometimes they leave you because of life. Sometimes they leave you because they haven't prioritized themselves and they need a little bit of a reminding. But a lot of it comes down to you just didn't talk to them. So I love when estheticians reach out to me, especially the students in the school, and they come back and they're like, I actually got some clients back. Of course you did. You talk to them outside of a service. You talk to them outside of you actually doing a treatment. You called, text, emailed them, and ask them how they were. And that's one thing I'm always so intentional with. When you're calling a client or you're texting or emailing a client, it is not about having them come in. It's about acknowledging that you haven't seen them in a while. That is going to be a very easy way to open communication and show the client that you're caring for them instead of saying, we haven't seen you in a while. When are you ready to book? Whenever I coach estheticians and we are going to do a challenge like this, first of all, we're going to see how many clients haven't come back in 90 days, how many haven't come back in 6 months and a year. Those are my three thresholds. And so it usually is the 3 month and 6 month folks that come back. The year folks, they've had a long time without you. So you got to nurture that a little bit more, right? But we are not reaching out to them to ask them to book an appointment. We're reaching out to them to ask them how they are doing. And that is something that most estheticians are very surprised about. I'm not coming to you to get you to book an appointment. What I am coming to you for is to ask how you are. How are you? I miss seeing you, which takes the conversation to a different space, right? And in that different space, people really do start to look at it a little bit different and they think about it, right? So, one of the challenges that I have in the challenge, the client comeback challenge, is challenging yourself to show appreciation to the clients who actually keep their appointments. See, and that's another whole, I can do a whole nother podcast on client appreciation, which is one of the favorite things that I love to do. It's the things that I love to do when it comes to events. It's always been my biggest event was client appreciation. Bring a friend, all of that is in there. But appreciating the clients who keep your doors open. And it doesn't have to be a grand, big gesture where it's an event. Like you could have a client treat day, which is one of the things that I do. And I literally have it broken down in the school. And then you're going to on social media show that you're appreciating the clients that came in today and this is what they were gifted with when they leave. And that gets your clients to be like, "Oh wow, so she just does random treats. When did she start bringing cupcakes or when did she start bringing muffins?" Well, I want to get appreciated. I want to be there when there's a treat day. And when you start doing that, clients start keeping their appointments. It's so funny. I'll never forget. I had a coaching client and she said that her clients, one of them, or maybe a few of them, came up to her and said, I see all of the treat days because she shares them in her Facebook group and she shares them on her stories. And the client said, "I've never gotten a treat day." She said, "I've been here with you, and I keep watching all the pictures and the videos that you're giving everybody these treats. And I've been coming to you consistently. I don't miss my appointment. And I've never come to you and that you've never celebrated me on a treat day." And her and I had a really good laugh because it's like they're paying attention. The clients are paying attention as to what you're doing, which goes back to communication. Believe it or not, your clients are nosy as hell. And they want to see everything that you're doing, including celebrating other clients. But I thought it was funny that she said that. And I told her, I said, "Well, how are you going to fix that?" She's like, "I'm changing because she did 2 treat days a month." She said, "I'm changing uh one of the treat days to make sure she's there. So we'll give her a treat day." I said, "Okay, good. I can't wait to see that." And of course, the client was happy. But in the challenge, I not break down treat days. I talk about coming in for client appreciations. I talk about your relationship. So the client relationship is so like it's such a big deal. Here's the thing when it comes to clients. I always come back to when we really break down clients coming back, not coming back, how we get lost in what we thought would keep our clients here versus actually what keeps them there, right? The challenges that I gave out was building that relationship. Like one of the challenges is asking estheticians on your intake form, is there a birthday there? Do you actually know the first date of the client's first appointment and do you celebrate that? See, that's one a lot of people don't do. Do you put notes in their file right? Do you do certain things that you can celebrate with them? And if not, how do we implement that into your business now? So if you on your client intake form, if you don't highlight their birthdays or have in your booking system highlighting their birthdays, can you do that? And then what is the first service date that they had with you? Because that's technically their anniversary. So if that date comes and passes, we're going to celebrate your year anniversary, your 2 year anniversary, your 3 year anniversary. Does that make sense? Like there's a lot of things that I feel that people we take for granted, simply just getting a client in, having them keep their appointment, getting them to check out their retail and then rebook. We don't go in between where there is important spots that we can literally strengthen that relationship, right? So I always give action items in my challenges as well. So I tell you exactly what you need to do, and then I challenge you to do the thing. Does that make sense? So when I had someone that came in and we were discussing like clients that haven't been in, if they are a client whose schedule has changed and they used to be consistent, but they can't anymore because their schedule has changed for whatever. Does the client know that there is a last minute list? Because some of you guys don't have a last minute booking list or a list where clients who cannot commit to a time, but they still want to know what your schedule is like for the week. Do you have a place that you have that? Right. So are you communicating that you have a last minute opening or you have a last minute cancellation on social medias and or email and or text? And so one of the challenges that I also did here was, why do your clients not know your open availability for the week? How do you communicate that? Unless a client's coming into your book and they're looking at your schedule every day or every other day trying to find a hole, they would never know that you had a Monday at 2 or Thursday at 5 or Saturday at 1. They would never know that, right? And there are going to be people who would love to come and see you. They just don't know that you have an opening and you haven't given them a chance to look at their schedule. And so I call those the last minute people. So last minute list is always very important in my book, simply because those are folks who would never commit to a consistent time, but they might be able to come see you on a certain day. They just don't know. So now it's going to be your job in this client comeback challenge to decide, as you're reaching out to the folks who haven't seen you in 90 days or 6 months or a year, do they want to commit to that or do they want to be added to the last minute list where they can be communicated with? Because you would be very surprised at people who want to see you, they just don't know your schedule. And unless you're posting on social media, in your Facebook group, in your emails or texts, how would they know on Monday you have an opening on Friday or Saturday? Like that's where I come back to being so honed in to your communication that clients are aware. Half of the issue when it comes to getting your books full is people don't know that your books have an opening. They don't know when the opening is, they don't know what day the opening is, and they don't know you have it. So when you have someone that comes in or a couple clients that come in and they keep their appointments and they keep them every single month, there are people who do want a last minute. They want a last minute. They want the opportunity to know on Monday that you have an opening Friday at 8 o'clock. They want to know on Monday that you have an opening Saturday at 2. The issue is it's not that it's open, it's that you have not created a way to communicate to those clients that it's open. Because let's pull the covers back a little bit, because most of the people you're talking to on social media are not your customers. This is why, are your clients. This is why I'm so passionate about Facebook groups, because your Facebook group is such a first line communication. You can tag at everybody and everybody gets a notification that you have Friday open at 2 and you have Saturday open at 1. Like you could do this every Monday if you really wanted to, right? But there's no clear way to communicate. Even if you have a last minute opening list, not everybody's going to read their email. Not everyone is going to look at their text message, but they may if you have that system set up. Does that make sense? So I love this challenge. I give you 30 days worth. Actually, we have 45. I just looked at it. We have a lot of challenges that come into that specific challenge, all geared around communicating with your client, appreciating them, giving them treats, and getting them to come back, which means you build on your relationship. And building on your relationship means you have to take the initiative to over communicate. So what you think is over communication may just be just barely communication. I'll never forget I was working with an esthetician and she just could not get past the one email a month. And I really, really was trying to get her to understand you don't talk to your clients. If you're only sending one email a month, you're posting on social media once a week. You're going on the social media 4 times in that month and one email. So there's been 5 times you've communicated, and it's not all the ways you communicate, and it's not every month that you send an email. How do you expect clients to know what's happening in your business if you're not communicating? And that initiative has to come from you. It can't come from you think that they're going to go to your calendar and look. No, they're not. If you think they're going to go from your social media and click this, you haven't told them, right? You haven't said, are you looking for an appointment? When's the last time you did that in your stories and had the link to your calendar? When's the last time you did that? I have an opening Friday. Whoever wants it, here you go. When's the last time you did that? Like, I had to push her outside of her comfort zone to get her business to grow. But she was just hell bent on, yeah, once a month is good. And so I literally sat her down and said, okay, what beauty business are you subscribed to? I think she said Ulta or Sephora. And I said, how many emails a week do you get from Ulta and Sephora? Take one, doesn't matter. And she said, I think 5, maybe 6. Okay. And so why do you think that they're emailing that much? She's like, well, it's actually really informative. Like, I know the upcoming sales, I know the new products, I know all that stuff. Oh, but you want to talk to your clients once a month. How many people actually read that email you send once a month? So I don't know. When you have a client who also shops at Sephora, getting an email 5 to 6 times a week, as much as you think that it's overkill, there's a method to that marketing madness. They're going to go into Sephora to look at that new whatever it is. They're going to go see it. They want to put their hands on it. They want to try it. But it's not that they're sending too many emails, it's that they're over communicating because there's probably maybe out of the 6 clients or their customers are going to open maybe 2. But that means that twice a week they're getting information from that business. It's either going to be a click through from the email to shop or they're going to go into the store and go look for it to buy it. Where are you in that same inbox if it's only once a month? And if we talk about the consistency, you're not consistent once a month. Some days it's the beginning of the month, some days in the middle of the month, some days it's at the end of the month. But why one? I don't want to bother them. And I love how I had to get to the bottom of it. She doesn't like getting multiple emails, so she feels that she can't send multiple emails, even though her clients want to know so much of what is happening in her business. They will tell her if the emails are too much. She never gave them a chance. Not one person ever said that you are over communicating. Not one person said that you're sending too many emails. Not one person said any of those things, right? So when I come back to getting those clients back, the key takeaways I want to tell you today is they don't know what's happening in your business. You're going to have to change how you communicate. You're going to have to change how you look at the relationship. You're going to have to really start appreciating them publicly. And you're going to need to reach out to those ones that you've not seen in 3 months, in 6 months, and in a year. If you want to grow your business. And then you need to set up a schedule that you're going to do that on a regular basis because no one should get past your communication past 90 days. If you haven't spoke to someone in a year, you should now, once you start to communicate with everyone, not let it get past 90 days, the last time you've spoken to them, the last time you've emailed them or texted them. Like you're going to have to set up a system. So put it into your phone, into your calendar, and 90 days from now, communicate again if you haven't seen them and they haven't booked an appointment. So that way it doesn't get so far out of hand that they're not communicating with you, right? And this goes for seasonal clients. This goes for all of them, to be honest. Anyone that hasn't seen you in a year or 6 months or 3 months, yeah. Those that only come for waxing between April and August, they still can know what's happening too. They can still go on that last minute cancellation list or last minute appointment list to where it's not booked out, but it's open and it's ready for them. Like there's so many different ways that you can fill your books, but part of it is you have a lot of clients that have not come back. You also have not communicated with them to come back. So our online esthetician school that we have right here, one of the big challenges that I love is the client comeback challenge. It is fun. There are a lot of tasks to do here, but I find that there's a lot of you who want to get into an environment where you are told what to do, and that's not a negative thing. Like you are literally being told what to do. And so in the school, all of my challenges, I have a pay yourself challenge, I have a retail challenge, we have the client comeback, we have the Christmas in July, we have the Facebook group challenge, like we have a social media challenge as well. They're all tasks for you to do so that they become a habit to where you continue to do those challenges and those tasks. Click the link right on down below. You can start your first day of school. I do have a free masterclass that does talk about the 5 different ways that you need to communicate with your clients. That link is also down below. And this episode is sponsored by the SLI Online Esthetician School. I can't wait for you to start your first day of school.